What's up, losers? KD3 here. People have been getting their hands on Persona 3 Reload early, and reviews are starting to come out. Unfortunately, it seems like I didn't get a code, but it's alright. We just gotta keep things pushing, and Atlus will acknowledge us eventually. Now, the reason I'm making this video is because Kotaku is reporting that a problematic scene in Persona 3 Reload has been removed from the game. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I forgot that this scene existed until Kotaku brought it up. Instead of reading their article, I'm just going to showcase the scene in question so that people who aren't familiar with the game don't get spoiled. And I also don't want to mention what the new scene entails for the same reason. Now let's get into it. Alright, so now I am showcasing the scene in question. This is from Persona 3 Fez, as you can tell, because it's not a visual novel like Portable. I don't know if they changed this at all in the PC port, the PC, Switch, PlayStation, Xbox port of Portable, but if this was a change they were going to make, I'm surprised they did not do it in Portable as well, because it made sense for the time that it came out. But this is the scene. This scene is called Operation Babe Hunt, which I believe is also, the name of it has also been changed in Reload. I don't remember what the new name is, and that's good because, I don't want to be spoiled on it. But this is the scene that has been removed. And like I said, I will not disclose what entails in the new scene because that's not right to the people who haven't played the game yet, and I'm sure Atlus would not appreciate me doing that. So we will not be talking about that, but we will be talking about this scene and why it has been removed from the game. So let me unpause the video. So yes, this girl is all alone, and they try to hit on her. So as you can see, she says she doesn't mind the company. They're having a conversation about their experience with the girls on the beach. So you can clearly see what's being alluded to here. Now it's extremely clear. Now, this is where the problem begins. Now, you see what's going on here? Do you see what's going on here? Yeah, this is pretty uncomfortable for a lot of people. Now they've seen something that made them lose their attraction to this woman, and now they're not interested anymore, so that already begins a problem. And plus, with this dialogue, it alludes to, it portrays people like this as something they're not. That is also not cool at all. And that when it comes to pronouns, I believe pronouns are a matter of respect. If somebody goes by certain pronouns, there's no reason really not to go with the pronouns they've given for themselves. It's a basic matter of respect, and if you just absolutely refuse, you're crossing a boundary. Like you're not giving a person the basic respect that they're entitled to. It doesn't really matter what you believe when it comes to this, in my opinion. Their pronouns are their pronouns. You gotta respect them. That was the scene. It should be pretty clear why a scene like this was removed. This scene being in Reload would cause so many problems on release. None of us really paid this scene any mind when we played the original game, but it's 2024 now. A lot of us, we have put a spotlight on issues concerning minority groups, and I'm sure the minority group that's being referenced in this video would not appreciate being portrayed in this manner, especially not in 2024. We definitely know better. We're more aware of things like this and how harmful they could be. I get the developers, they may make some changes that may be deemed unnecessary sometimes in games, but this is definitely not one of those changes. I've already seen people on Twitter saying that they refuse to purchase the game because of this change. It's really silly in my opinion that people will forego an experience that they've been waiting for so long just because of a tiny change that has no effect on the experience overall. And I don't really understand how, regardless of what changes or how many things change, people will always label those things as just as bad as each other, even though the gravity of the changes could be on completely different levels. Like, for example, Fire Emblem Engage, that game stirred a lot of controversy because there were a lot of silly, unnecessary changes that they made in that game. Not all of them were unnecessary, but some of them were, and there were quite a few changes that were quite unnecessary. But in Reload's case, as far as I know, this is the only thing, like, scene that has, like, changed. And it makes sense because, you know, it doesn't portray a certain group in a positive light. And regardless of what group you belong to, you don't want to be portrayed in that manner. So, of course, you know, something like this was going to be changed. It's not really harmful. It harms no one. And if you're not going to buy the game because of it, you're not really, like, you'll say you're not afraid of certain groups of people, but when you just refuse to buy games because of things like this, then it just makes you look like you're that person that you're claiming you're not. And it's very silly to make such a drastic decision from a tiny change that does not affect you at all. Very, very silly. Atlus, they just doctored some content that we barely even remember existed, and people are upset about it. Yes, I saw this on X, but you know, Twitter, X, it's an alternate dimension. I feel like those people aren't real, because if you actually if you go outside and touch grass, nobody acts like this. Nobody. Very, very silly behavior. Anyways, that's all I've got to say about this matter. I think this was a good thing. It took something that was unnecessary and turned it into something else that we can all get behind, and I am 100% behind that. And if you're gonna not buy the game because of a small change like that, you probably weren't gonna buy the game anyway. Let's keep it 1,000. Because when people really want something, they will look past whatever problematic elements there are in a product. Palworld is the perfect example. Palworld, there were suspicions about the art in that game being AI generated, and what did people say? I don't care, I'm going to play it anyway. And that's pretty much how the whole AI thing is going. As long as the product's good, people just do not care. So please, stop faking the funk. You are going to buy the game regardless, as long as they don't, you know, make any drastic changes, like changing the ending or something like that. But this is an irrelevant change. This was an overall good change. There is no harm in this change. And people are just acting very silly.
And I'm out. Later, losers.